It's your voice, your vote. Let's continue our live election night coverage. Californians are voting on 10 propositions in this election.
Yeah, it's an important time, and they really address a lot of different things, from retail theft to rent control, marriage, and how future taxpayer money will be spent. This touches all of us. ABC 10's Brandon Rittiman is following the vote count on these races so far. Brandon, we've seen a lot transpire, even just during this 2-hour streaming here. What are you seeing right now? And you have a very detailed map. I do want to point that out. It's very exciting to see.
Yeah, well, and it looks like a bed sheet of green on this one. Prop 36 is the only prop we've actually got a call on at this point as passing. As you can see, more than a 70-30 split right now. This is the proposition that would take repeat offenses for things like retail theft and certain drug offenses and upgrade what are now misdemeanors into felonies. That means more prison time to be served for those offenses and more of those sentences served in state prisons as opposed to county jails. It increases the state budget. Voters don't care. They are tired of the retail theft. And this is a very loud message to Sacramento with more than 3 million vote count difference here saying, yeah, let's do the thing. And I actually want to just take a moment to turn on the heat map here because it's somewhat telling. You can see just how green it is. And if I go to like one of the softer places, let's look at Santa Cruz County, still 55-45. So like this is being perceived as a potential solution to this problem, literally statewide, and we're watching that result come in right now. Turn the heat map off for a second. We have the opposite story practically with rent control, Prop 33, excuse me, I put that on the statewide total, which is going down in flames again, 60-40. This has been on your ballot the last 3 or 4 elections. It's been rejected by similar amounts. The proposal itself hasn't changed all that much, and while it has not been called as failing, this 1.5 million vote difference is going to be a lot to overcome. We're kind of taking these a little bit out of order, but these are the clearest results. We'll go back to the beginning of your list. Prop 2, $10 billion for education. Looks like it's in pretty good shape right now. Prop 3, a repeal of the old Prop 8 from 2008, the gay marriage ban in California's books, which is unenforceable, by the way. It's been struck down by the courts. California say, get it out of there. It's a really fascinating result because this is only 16 years ago that Californians put this on the books by a 52% vote, and now by more than 10 points beyond that, going the other way, it would appear tonight. Prop 4, another $10 billion bond package. This is for climate adaptation. Think forest thinning projects to try to reduce the fire risk, things like sea level rise. There's all kinds of infrastructure money in there. Little nebulous what it's going to be spent on, but there are definitely categories of spending that are baked into it. And then Prop 5, which would have made it easier for local government bonds to pass, would have reduced the supermajority threshold. Right now, if your local fire district or water district wants to raise a bunch of money to do some work, they got to go ask the voters for bond money, and they've got to hit a 2/3 threshold. Californians are saying we'd like to keep that 2/3 threshold. This actually would have taken effect if it passed this election. Still potential that it swings the other direction, but this is looking like a pretty good bedsheet of red as well. So one we'll be watching throughout the evening. But yeah, we are starting to get some clarity early on these props. Again, the only one that's actually been called so far is Prop 36. This is a loud message to the governor's office and the powers that be in Sacramento who have been pushing back against this. This really is an idea driven largely by conservatives and the governor's office trying to take great pains to say, hey, we're doing stuff about retail crime. Don't worry about this Prop 36. Seems to be way too little, way too late to move the needle with the voters, and Sacramento's going to have to pay attention.
Brandon, I think you make a good point there because they had what they called a package of bills, right, that was meant to address this issue, especially of retail theft. But then there was no official dissent to the prop, right?
On this one, there was dissent to the prop. I think we were having a conversation about this, and I may have misspoke to you before the show. There was dissent to this prop, but what there wasn't was a clear alternative on Prop 36. Mm-hmm. And so in wanting for that, the voters said, let's do something, I think is the way that a lot of people will be interpreting this result when we look at the tea leaves after everything is said and done. But yes, absolutely, we didn't have a real competing vision for a way to deal with this problem in time for the voters to go, you know what, that's already been addressed. Mm-hmm. There was an effort to try to convince voters of that. They're not.